Look at that. Isn't all of life framed around this? Like what we think, how we feel, isn't your whole life about finding some type of result? Hey friends, Michael here, author of A Warrior's Mindset, founder of Next Wave Warrior, and today we are here to talk about the single most important thing you can understand about mindset. Mindset. So have you heard this term called mindset? What does this thing mean? What does this term mean? It's thrown around a lot, and what does it exactly mean? Well, I'm going to take it right from the words of the researcher who kind of put this term into motion to just become popular ever since I wrote my book called The Warrior's Mindset. Understanding this concept and really getting into understand really how do you help change people's lives. And that's what the game that I'm in is, how to change people's lives for the better. Well, there's one thing that we're going to cover today. It's the single most important concept, the framework of mindset that you can understand with today. And if you were to really dive in and just adopt what I'm going to share with you today, you could transform your life, literally. However, it's a concept, right? It's a concept that takes that, we take something that we can understand, and then by understanding something, now you have a way of looking at something, and then you have to implement that way that you're looking at something to now change the trajectory of your life. So this is something that, this researcher, her name of Carol Dweck, wrote this book called Mindset, and just a prominent researcher, but was able to really transform students, right? I mean, we look at success, to look at what makes a student successful, and begin asking that question, and could it really be narrowed down into a person's mental attitude, their inclination, their mental predisposition of how to see something? And is that possible? Is that fixed? Is that a fixed thing that's just in someone, which a lot of people tend to think? Or is that something that can be changed and developed, which I hope you get to that point of that thinking. But within that concept, within asking herself, Professor Dweck, Dr. Dweck, she actually went down this road to research and to actually propose, could I change a student's, a class's, a school's result on their performance by shifting this one concept in the students, in the teachers, in the culture of this school? And would it have a lasting impact? Come to find out, yes. So we're going to go over that today, and this is just a way to show you that there's a powerful thing that we can understand for our individual selves called mindset. So there's many definitions that, if you look out there and type in, Mr. Google, you'll find mindset defined in various different ways. But the general sense of it is a mental attitude, a mental inclination, a predisposition, a frame of thought, which basically affects what you think, how you feel, and what you do. So let me write those things down so you can remember. And so what you think, how you feel, and what you do. So mindset, right? That's what mindset affects. These three things. And if you're to look at that, isn't all of life framed around this? Like what we think, how we feel, isn't your whole life about finding some type of result? some type of result, something that you want to do, but you don't find yourself, like, for instance, health, fitness. For so many people, so many Americans across the United States, across the world, wanting to be fit, wanting to be healthy. However, those are behaviors, right? But not feeling like you want to do it, not showing up consistently, going on this yo-yo thing where you start and stop and start and stop. And isn't this all have to do with this thing called mindset? Yes. Mindset has to do with everything. And so, a very powerful concept here today that we're talking about. But mindset, when we understand mindset, we want to look at it as a definition. It is really the mental attitude that we carry in our thinking, how it affects how we look at everything, right? I like to think of it like the glasses, right? It's the glasses that you put on. And if you know anything about glasses, for those of you who wear glasses, you put on your glasses and it helps you see the world in a different way. If I put on some shades, right, maybe some red tinted shades, it's gonna change the whole way I see my world, which is that red tint. And then when I take it off, then it's a whole different color, right? So I look at that like that mindset. That mindset is you put on the pair of shades and it's a different color. It completely tints your entire world and how you're looking at things. Same thing when you make this one adjustment in your thinking, which is what we're going to talk about in a few moments, which is this mindset. So when we're looking at mindset, you can start asking yourself these questions of, what do I think about the way life is? And how does that keep me stuck? How do I feel at the end of the day? How do I feel when I get up? Sometimes just in the morning, just trying to get up and get your day going. If that's a struggle for you, there's something going on with your mindset, your thinking. And really what you do. Because, right, most people will find themselves in a position of doing the things that they don't want to do. And they're, just in it to please other people for fear of losing what they have, or just, sheer frustration and overwhelm and not knowing how to get out of anything. So they stay stuck in that moment. So when I ask that question for you, what really these questions frame, who am I being in this situation? How does that have to do with anything with my mindset? So, mindset, single most important thing we're going to cover in this moment is what Carol Dweck is the whole premise of what she taught these elementary school kids. And they repeated the process for thousands of schools across the United States to really validate this, to really ensure that as a researcher that this was statistically significant results in their findings, that hey, what we are doing by simply presenting new education and teaching and training the adults, the teachers, the students on this concept, that they begin to adopt, and simply that new information of adopting the way, giving them a new pair of glasses on how to look at things, completely changed their results, changed their mental attitude. And that's the one thing that I want to share with you. And so what is that? Well, let's see here. Let me just get my handy dandy wiper. So when Dr. Dweck went into the schools, she was going into schools where they were struggling academically within their math performance, reading performance, writing performance, right, on state standardized tests, and could find the areas of schools that were really struggling. And she made it a challenge to go into those schools to, by, of course, getting approval, but to go into those schools and to get a control group, person who received the information and a person who received the training, and then a school that didn't, and then again compare those results and see if what they had done, keeping multiple variables controlled as much as possible, could they actually get different results. Come to find out, yes. And the main concept in what she taught was these students, they tend to be in this position of their thinking for a majority of the school, because if you know that a school is a culture, and kids are individually fitting into that culture, and whatever that culture is has an attitude, has a way, an outlook that everybody kind of contributes and buys into, right? It's just the social pressures of any school culture. And so when we're going to a new organization and we are new ourselves, we will likely to be accepted, to do our job. We will conform into the social setting of that atmosphere, the culture of that organization. Same thing happening with kids. And so think about it. If a school has an attitude where their outlook, their perception, their glasses that they are wearing is that we are dumb, I am dumb, can't get this, stuff, we're not smart like that. We'll never, go to those types of schools or get these kind of opportunities. That's for, those kind of kids, right? If a school has that mentality that, majority-wise, and that if they have that mentality, they are what we call this, what Carol Dweck names this term as a fixed mindset. And a fixed mindset basically comes from the belief, right? This thing called a belief that your qualities that you have in yourself are pretty much carved in stone. And who you are is who you are, period. No moving that. That's just who you are, right? That's really what represents this idea of a fixed mindset. The qualities, the characteristics, the personality of you is just a fixed thing and cannot be changed. You are who you are, period. Right? That's that outlook of life that if you're in the position of your life where you feel like that you know what, I'm the way I am, that's just who I am, nothing's changing. If those words ever came out of your mouth, guarantee you are in this position of fixed mindset, just like those students who were not succeeding, who were struggling, who were just not getting the success that they were fully capable of getting. And what Carol Dweck did was she taught this concept. And the concept to get them from here to here right? If a fixed mindset is, I am the way I am and that's just how it is. All my qualities are etched in stone. Nothing's moving. Nothing can change me. That's just who I am. That's just how it is. That's just how life is. That type of thinking kept students from succeeding. They kept them from growing. It kept them from expanding and developing themselves, adding new skills and competencies and taking healthy risk to move forward or to grow even more, right? That's the type of thinking that kept them, what this term is, fixed, stuck. And so she, in understanding the characteristics of these schools and these school cultures, these organizations, the style of thinking, they moved over here to a growth mindset. And what does this mean? Growth mindset. Growth mindset basically means that a person now is opposite, right? If somebody sees fixed over here, this person sees that, I am who I am at this moment in my life right now. If I desire to be anything else, it is completely possible with enough work ethic, training, skill development. Things are always changing and things are never set in stone. I am never set in stone. I have skills, qualities, and talents and interests that are here right now, but again, I understand that things are always changing. Things are always moving. I know that I could develop in my life new things because I am constantly growing. Until the day that I stop breathing, my mind is constantly growing. I can look in my mind and I can understand that there's neural pathways that kind of run like a freeway, and after you shut down that freeway, it'll begin to wither away, and then you can open lines to a new freeway. So we know that the brain is from this concept neuroplasticity. It has the ability to mold and shape and form to how you condition it. Right? Growth mindset. How do you take someone from here to here? This is what the big concept is. When she understood what the language that was coming out of the kid's mouth at that time, it had to do with this language of, I'm not going to ever be good now. Because, do you see what my score was on that test? I suck at math. I suck at all these different things that, they're not going to happen for me. That's not for me. That's, for somebody else. They were taking all the experiences of their failures, of their setbacks, of their challenges, of their problems, and personalizing that to the now moment. And when they personalized it to that now moment, it became fixed as a part of them. They used that information, right, that setback, that problem, that failure, that challenge, they used that as evidence for themselves that that's who I am. I guess I'm just not good at math. I guess I'm just not a good football player. You know what? I fell down and I guess I'm not a good runner. Right? They took an experience and I mean, you look at your life and you see how you've done this yourself, right? Most of us, we've done this. We've evolved to even feeling stuck right here. But when she was looking at it in kids, she was able to understand that when they took an experience that they went through and they put it into the now, they remained just fixated on it. And when they accepted that as a belief, now every other failure or upset or setback or challenge after that just reconfirmed that belief. See, told you I'm not good at math. I told you I'm not a good speaker. I told you school was not for me. I told you I couldn't do that. Right? When they really reconfirm that within themselves, that is where their mind was in that stuck thinking, that fixed mindset. Now, when new education came, which was what Carol Dweck brought into the classrooms, into the schools, new education was about this concept of not yet. So instead of a student now seeing that failure on a math test as being fixed and see the evidence for not being good at math, right? She wanted to get them to think of it along a continuum, right? Instead of just being a fixed moment, what if it was just a fixed moment on the line of a continuum. So this would change differently from this, because, and you know what? I didn't do good on that math test. It just means I need to practice more. You know, I don't get this yet. I'm never gonna get to that level that I want to yet. I don't know how to do this yet. Right? She, really brought in this term to how do you get, a kid to expand their thinking beyond fixating on a moment and an experience on a sec, because we're all going to have those setbacks, those failures, those frustrations. We're all going to experience those things in our life. Yet how do you not see it as a fixated moment and own that as a part of your identity, but how do you again allow yourself to put it on as an experience on your continuum of life? How do you take that experience, put it on that continuum of life? Continuum, that means that there are multiple millions of moments, and that only represented one. That doesn't define who you are. It just represent that one moment you had on that journey. Right? So not yet, the power of not yet. Growth mindset has to deal with the power of thinking of not yet. So this was her whole concept. This is the most important concept that you can take in understanding mindset, which is moving from now to not yet. And just adding that little simple phrase onto the end of your sentence, yet, really helps you frame your thinking to condition, right? She didn't go in there and teach them that one lesson that one day and it completely changed. Maybe it did for a couple students, but guarantee there had to be the repetition of the teacher's endorsement to say, do we have to do that? It's too hard. We're never gonna get it. And the teacher follows up and says, we're not gonna get it, class. We're not gonna get it yet. We don't get it yet. You don't get it yet. But we will be there. So again, that concept of not yet came from that understanding that if we are to go to that next level, it starts with yet. So that was the powerful concept that came from, her research and understanding, and the most powerful concept that you can take in your life. This thing called mindset, right? It's the glasses of how I see life. And when I get to that next level, it's going to help me understand how to go from a fix to a growth. That was the most powerful part. That's what I wanted to leave with you today. I hope you take this and again, help you to grow beyond your circumstances. Thank you.